what should you consider before hiring? So, do you feel like this guy? Overworked, multitasking, underpaid, your business is just totally overwhelming you. You're spending too much time working in your business as opposed to on your business. And so your solution now is, well, maybe I should hire somebody. If you feel that way, that's what I'm going to talk about today. So what's up, everybody? Chris Hervochon here with SOAR, A Better Way CPA. Let's connect. Chris at betterwaycpa.com, phone number 843-608-0298. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Quora. I post new content on Quora every single day, which is unique to Quora. So by all means, check that out. Follow me. I appreciate it. So if you have any questions, please ask away. I'd love to answer questions as I'm going through this. And, by all means, if you're watching this as a recording, put your questions in the comments. Happy to go back and answer those at any time. So here's the problem. And this is actually stemming from a conversation that I had with a new client on Tuesday of this week, so a couple days ago. But you have more work than you can handle. Say you've got a startup or you're running your own show. Maybe you've got some sort of a mom and pop operation, but you're working until all hours of the night just to stay afloat. You feel like you're underpaid. You feel like you're overworked, it's just too much, right? And so your solution is, well, maybe I will hire somebody. Fair enough, but let's talk through it. So there's two ways to scale. One is to make money off of other people. That's hiring. That's bringing people into your business so that they are doing the work and so that you can grow, right? So you can sell more. The other way is to make money off of processes. In other words, automation. So say you've got a product or a service that is relatively low touch, meaning you don't have to do a whole lot of work to deliver that to a client. That's another way to scale, right? Because every incremental customer that you have come in, it's not really all that much work, but it's more revenue that's coming into the business, okay? So there's two ways to scale. Today we're gonna talk about number one, which is more people. So there's really three considerations here. Now, revenue before cost. What does that mean? It means two things. Number one, you have to have revenue coming into the business in order to generate cash, which you can then use to pay people, so to hire them, right? The other thing to think about here is, are you charging enough? Okay, so if you think about, and this is the exact conversation that I had with my client on Tuesday, but if you take your entire client base and if you double their fee, what happens? Well, assuming that all of your clients stay with you, you will double your revenue, right? Easy math. Now, say you lose half your clients. So, kind of a doomsday scenario, right? You're going to lose half of your clients. Well, you're still going to have the same revenue that you had before because you've doubled your fee, right? Lose half your clients, same revenues you had before, but you're going to have half the work. So now that you have half the work, the same amount of revenue, you're making basically the same amount of money. You don't need to hire anybody. Right now, and that's the exact conversation that I have with my client. Well, maybe it's not as dramatic as that. Her response was, "Well, I'm going to lose all my clients." Probably not, right? If you're delivering value to your clients, if you've got a great product or service, if you care about your clients, you're probably not going to lose all your clients. They're probably going to be happy that to pay you the fee that you're asking for because they value you, right? Well, you don't need to be as drastic as doubling your fee on every single client. What you can do is you can start with the bottom 10% or the bottom 10 clients or 5 clients or whatever it is. Double the fee on them. It's the 80-20 rule. Those clients are probably the folks that you're making the least amount of money off of. And by all means, if you don't know what your profitability is by client or by project, you need to get to that point. But it's the 80-20 rule. Those clients are probably not providing you with the best financial benefit, and they're probably also taking up too much of your time, really. And so maybe you start at the bottom, work your way up. Maybe your entire problem is solved by just raising the fee on those bottom clients. Number two, what have you tried to outsource and or automate? Now, I talk a lot about this in the sense of bookkeeping and accounting and things like that, automation. So those are the back office type things, working on your business as opposed to in your business. Have you tried to outsource accounting, bookkeeping, HR, payroll? What are you automating? Are you automating those simple data entry tasks? Have you tried to automate those simple data entry tasks? Have you tried to automate some of your client workflow? If you have not, I would start there because that's cheaper to do and it'll provide you, one, with a better product. Automation provides you with better quality control, generally speaking, and more consistency. So consistent from client to client, month to month. So consistency in delivering your product or service to those clients. Very, very helpful to automate. And then think about outsourcing. Have you tried Upwork? Have you tried Fiverr? You know, have you looked at those folks? So they're generally low cost, and you know, it saves you from having to go out and recruit somebody. If you find somebody on Upwork and you're not paying them really all that much, you're not paying them in benefits, anything like that, because they're an independent contractor. And if you find that they're just not working out, well, you can just fire them. You can just cut bait and go, and you know, move on to the next one. That can be a little bit of a painful process, but it's certainly lower risk, lower cost than bringing somebody in full time, hiring them, right? So outsourcing and automation, two different things to look at. And then number three is the actual cost of an employee. And I'm going to bring up a salary survey here. This is actually a salary survey for the creative space. So marketing agencies, designers, things like that. And this is produced by Robert Half. If you're in this space and you've never seen the salary guide, I highly recommend you go get it. There's one for accounting and finance as well. There's different salary guides that, by industry. In your industry, you should be looking at the salary guide all the time just to know what it's going to cost you to bring somebody in. Or, you know, even if you're just an employee somewhere, so that you know what you should be getting paid. I totally recommend looking at these from time to time, and they're generally produced yearly. Other ways you can find this data, salary.com, Glassdoor, PayScale, websites like that. But if you're looking here, like at a creative director, and this is just the first page, right? It's going to cost you anywhere from $90,000 to $186,000 to bring somebody in full time. That's their salary. Well, that's just their salary. Generally speaking, if you're going to bring somebody in, you're going to need to pay them benefits, other perks and stuff like that. So you're going to want to multiply this salary by 1.3. That's a Bureau of Labor Statistics somewhere between 1.25 and 1.3. That's going to cover your benefits, sick pay, you know, 401k, those types of things. So that's going to be your fully loaded cost of bringing somebody in. Bringing people in is very, very expensive. It is time consuming. And also the other thing to think about, especially if you're a solopreneur, is it's going to totally change your lifestyle, right? Because when you have an employee, they have expectations of you that you're going to be available to them for, you know, the various tasks of their job, right? If they have questions or if they need to deliver something to you. So if you're used to just working on your own schedule, I know I am as an accountant, right? As also a solopreneur. If you're going to bring somebody in, well, they've got a reasonable expectation that you're going to kind of work on their schedule a little bit too, right? Because you can't be requiring them to work at 11 o'clock at night just because you are. I mean, they've got lives too. So that's one thing to think about. It is a lifestyle change, most likely, if you are a solopreneur. So we'll get rid of that. But you need to think of the actual cost of an employee. It's not just the dollar cost, but it is a fully loaded dollar cost as far as salary. And then you also need to think about, you know, how you're going to support them. You know, how you're going to communicate with them, how often you're going to communicate with them, where they're going to be physically located, the software that they need to use, all the costs that go in with onboarding somebody. You need to be thinking about all of those things. Okay. So this discussion actually goes back to the Wayfinder. And if you remember, the Wayfinder is a service that I offer basically to help you grow your business. And you know, we work through and part of that Wayfinder is that we work through the 4 pillars of business strategy. So number 1, customer acquisition and sales. Number 2 is financial strategy. And number 3 is people and culture. We're talking today about the people and culture pillar. It's number 3 for a reason. 1, because customer acquisition and sales, you need to have revenue in order to generate cash in order to pay these people, right? So it's necessarily got to come before people and culture. Financial strategy, that's going to include your cash flow. That's going to include controlling expenses. That needs to happen before people and culture, because if you onboard people, you got to pay them in cash. You can't pay them in a credit card or, you know, gold bullion or whatever. You actually have to pay them in cash, like a bank draft from your from your bank account. So you've got to have cash sitting in your bank account, cash flow, in order to pay people. And that's going to be a recurring expense. They're going to expect that paycheck every 2 weeks or bi-monthly or whatever it's going to be. They're going to expect that amount. And actually, a good real life example of how this goes wrong in a pop culture sense that's happening right now. Go on Netflix and watch the Fire Festival documentary. That'll show you the guy was paying his folks in you know, paper bags full of cash or something like that. You can't do that. Not in real life, right? So that'll give you a good example of how this can go wrong. So you need to make really, really sure that you've got the revenue to support these people, that you've done the things in your business, that's your financial strategy, that you've exhausted those options in order to generate more revenue, decrease costs, in order to generate the cash flow necessary to hire people, right? That's why people and culture is number 3. Still very, very important though. And I'll have a link to an article about the Fire Festival documentary in the show notes. I'll also have a link to a couple of Quora posts that I've done around the Wayfinder and cash flow and how it's important to your business. So please check those out as well. They're very pertinent to this discussion that we're having today. So that's it for me. Let's connect. Chris@betterwaycpa.com. Phone number 843-608-0298. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Quora. I post new content on Quora every single day. There's going to be 2 links in the show notes today to some Quora posts I think you're going to find interesting. So please, follow me, like the content, share it. It helps me to grow my audience as well as my business. So I really appreciate that. That's it, and I will see you next time.